Howdy, all Black Slot. Oh yeah, I think it's time we play a little Arc Extinction. I was like, what is that noise? It sounds like a jet engine, but it's a meteorite coming down, wherever it's coming down. Okay, so last episode I was trying to build the chemistry station, and I need more cementing paste and polymer. Wait, I have a bunch of polymer on me. Boo 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 boo. I still need a bunch more polymer and cementing paste. Yep. And maybe I'll get lucky and find a Doedic out there, right? So I assume this guy is still cooking away. I don't know what I got done. Alright, I'd like to look for a Doedic, because Doedics are awesome for gathering stone. I know I looked once before, but let's give it another try here. If I was a Doedic, where would I hide? Let's go this way, because we can look for beaver dams as well out this way. Maybe I get lucky and find another batch of cementing paste. Make my day better. I just got done with work, so, which is usually the case. I like to record right after I get done with work. Got done a little early today. It's only like 2:30. Alright. Not seeing much in the way of beaver dams in this pond. There's a bunch of metal rock there, though. Till I take out one of those OSD drops, I'm never gonna manage to bring an Anky down here, and I couldn't probably get it back if I wanted to. I'd have to find a path down and up. There's so much metal down here, though. Yeah, dead. So yesterday I got PSVR set up. I've never done VR before. And so it was a new experience for me for sure. It was pretty awesome, I have to say. Ooh, what was that? And I was very impressed. The very first game I put in was this little platformer called Astrobots, and so I was like, platformer? What's a platformer gonna do on VR? Like, this is such a weird game. And then everything is like, this is one of the best VR games. I'm like, how is a platformer good for VR? Like, where's all the first-person shooters and the I forgot what I even came down here for. Beaver dams. Oh, and Doedics. Right. I was like, what? How's a platformer going to be good for VR? I mean, I think VR. I think immersive worlds. I think platformer. I think guy jumping from side to side, on little platforms. And I have to say that watching people play VR games made me. I mean, it looked cool, but it didn't sell me. And then I saw I know I didn't. PSVR isn't Stormland, compatible, but Stormland is the game that made me think this could be fun. Stormland's by Insomniac, and they make like Ratchet and Clank, and so they've got like a robot adventure game coming out that's all VR. And I'm like, ooh, that makes me want VR. And so I started looking around at VR, and I'm like, oh, I have a PlayStation 4, and the PSVR is pretty cheap, so I can at least see if I like it or not before I plunk down, $1,000 on a VR sit up and then have to buy some games. And so, I mean, I've watched people play them, and I'm like, I mean, it'd be interesting, I guess, but it's not like mind-blowing or anything. Well, let me tell you, it is pretty awesome. Astrobot's first game I tried, and it's not what I was expecting. It's a 3D platformer, kind of like a Mario game, right? A modern Mario game. Um, and I'd really liken it to like Mario Sunshine because I don't know, the little dude's jets just make me think of the water jets in Mario Sunshine. And but even knowing what it looks like and watching it on the screen while somebody else plays is just like totally different. You're like in the game. It's like you're sitting in the middle of the level, and it's totally different from watching it on a flat screen. I especially like the parts where like the level is all around you, and so as you move, it's got a little bit of old school gaming to it, because as you move deeper into the level, the I don't think you can go back. Like I haven't. I guess I didn't try very hard because I was just moving forward, but it does move forward as you move forward. But because it's VR, when you turn your head, you turn where you're looking in the game. And so the very first point where you start, in the very first level, you got this little robot, and he sits on your controller. And your controller is visible because the controller does things in the game. And so when you start it up, you got to hold your controller up so that it locks in, so that the image of the controller matches your actual controller. And so when you move your controller around, you can see it on the screen. Of course, you can't see your hands and stuff, but and so when you get in there, it's got a screen, like a TV screen, and it shows you pressing X to release the robot from your controller, and then he hops down off your controller, and he hops down onto the floor, and it's basically like you're looking at the floor at your feet, and so he is standing on the floor at your feet, and then the spot where you first start and you're standing there, you're looking forward at like this archway of trees, or bushes or vines or something, and so there's a clear path where you go forward. But if you turn your head to the side, there's more to the level to your side. And so if you look to your left, there's some little platforms for your guy to climb up and get some coins. And then, on top of that, because your character is much taller, because you are a character in the game, you're like this big robot. But there's this, because you're taller, you can only see the top of the platform. But if you lean forward and look underneath the platform, you can see underneath the platform, and there's another coin down under there. And so the whole game is it's just like that. You lean around corners to see what's around corners. I've only played 2 levels, and in the second level, there's stuff you have to headbutt to activate for the robot. And so there's like these signs hanging off of these cranes. And so as you're going, I can't believe I can't find a Doedic. This is ridiculous. Um, they were all over the place on my previous map, and now that I want one, I can't find one anywhere. There's one. I lied. Look, I just found two. Okay, so we're gonna try... I can't even see his face from this far away. That one didn't hit. Listen, little buddy, I really need you to start going to sleep. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I didn't bring anything for you to eat. Let me go over here and get some. And so I was really impressed with... Oh. Shoot. Hey, did you see that guy swing at me? And you didn't even do nothing to stop him? And so it was impressive. I was impressed. I was not expecting it to be as good as it is. And then oh, what was the next game I played? So then I played a game called Crystal Rift, which is a dungeon crawler. It's a pretty basic dungeon crawler, but it looks really... I mean, it looks old school. It looks like a 1992 dungeon crawler, but it looks really good in 3D or in VR because you look around. It's a pretty basic game, though. I was a little disappointed in how basic it was, I guess. I haven't gotten that far, but it's very basic. There's not a lot to it. And then after that one, I just told a story in my video yesterday, but when I first got into I keep saying that when I got into computer gaming, you know, there wasn't 3D computer gaming really. There was Doom and Wolfenstein and stuff like that, like the old original versions, but they were just 2D over 2D, and it just mimicked 3D. And then they released Descent, which is a shooter where you play a combat-style drone in space, and that was an actual 3D flying around shooter. And so when I first started playing that, it made me a little dizzy and nauseous, but I got over it. So the next game I played on the VR is this game called Detached. And so Detached, you're an astronaut in space, and the space station has been sabotaged. And so you are trying to figure out what's going on and rescue people, I guess. I haven't got that far. But holy crap, does that make me dizzy and nauseous. I was not expecting it to be that bad. When I first started playing it, moving forward, moving back, left and right doesn't really bother me that much. But you can also spin your character and move up and down, and for whatever reason, those movements kind of caused me a little dizziness, and I think it was causing my stomach issues. I'm not sure. I could have just been having other stomach issues. I haven't tried today. But so when I first started playing, I had this thing called Eagle Eye, and so you got a little like you got a helmet on in the game, and so you can see the edges of your helmet. And so when you would move, other than forward, backward, left, and right, the screen would blacken except for a little circle in the middle. And I didn't like that. I didn't understand what was going on. I thought maybe my guy was experiencing G-forces or something. But it turns out it's designed so that you don't experience motion sickness. All right, I want you to follow me, and I want to make sure you are on neutral, and then you, I just opened my own inventory. You are going to get a saddle, and then we're going to take you home slowly while we level you up a little bit. Yeah, kind of like that. Which way's my way out of here? Must be this way. Let's see. We need more health. Whoa, you got 6 levels off of that? That's crazy. You definitely want to get your damage up a little bit. And let's get the health up a little more. We're going to raise the stamina. Eventually we're going to want to... Oh, see, that did it. We got to get the... that's a lot of sand. I didn't even know I needed sand on here. He went up a level from breaking rocks. I gotta remember, don't run off cliffs with this guy. Don't ride off cliffs with this guy. I also need to get out of the desert terrain here because I don't know where I'm headed. I guess I could look on the map, right? Okay, so apparently I need to go that way. I've crossed the entire map apparently to get here. And so I didn't play that one very long because I couldn't handle it. I'm not sure if I was experiencing actual stomach issues with it or if I was just having some stomach issues yesterday. I don't know. And then I tried a game called Mage's Tale. That one was ooh. Dang it. You got 0 obsidian out of that. That sucks. Also, where's all your berries? I thought I gave you a bunch of berries, man. And so don't hit obsidian with this guy. And so, oh, you know, I should do speed too. I should up his speed so that he can run faster. I mean, it's kind of fast now, but I want those guys, but I've tried a couple of times and have horribly failed at fighting anything like that. There you go. This feels a little better. And so that was really cool. The graphics are a little are not as crisp as some of the other games. I guess the earlier VR helmets, though, although I thought it was a new game, but they weren't as crisp as some of the. Although it might be just my positioning of the helmet. I noticed that there's some positioning issues when I'm wearing it, trying to get it just the right spot. But it was pretty cool. You play this a mage, and you got like 1 spell and a spell shield, and so it's not as simple as Crystal Rift, but it's still pretty simple so far. The controls on walking are kind of not great as well. I wish because it uses the dual motion controller, one for each hand, and so the walking is... Wow, they are going after my Enforcer instead of my Doedic. That's weird. What is that? What's creeping behind the wall there? Oh, terribleness. A lot of terribleness. Wow, I can't, I'm not running away. How long before I start running? Stop running away. Oh wow, I would have assumed my enforcer would have killed this thing, but it is not. Or it did now. Okay, watch out for those things. They suck. Yeah, and so it's pretty cool because you move your hands. Each of the characters' hands are visible on the screen, and so you can do different things with the different hands. So like I could equip a lightning spell on the left hand and a fireball spell on the right hand, or whatever. I was actually running with just a fireball spell most of the time, and then I actually learned to make. You have to make your spells, and so I got the ingredients eventually to make the lightning spell, and but I mostly was using spell shield on my left hand, and so you come across like goblins, and the goblins would be shooting arrows at you, and so you would activate your spell shield, and it didn't have a cost, I don't think. And so I would just hold it, move my arm in front of the arrows coming at me and catch the arrows on the shield. And they would stick to the shield. Okay, this is the bad part. I don't want to be here. I want to move over this way. That's the bad part where the wyvern lives, and I don't want to try and fight a wyvern with this guy. And so that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, and I like this is why I would want to play VR at all. You find health potions in the game, and so to use the health potion, you have to drink it. You have to grab it in your hand, hold it up to your mouth, like you're almost touching your mouth with your controller, and tilt it up to drink it, to use it. Or like when you level up, the gem on the back of your right hand glows. Ooh, I can't get down from up here. Come on. We have to find a gentler path. And so you have to touch the your left hand, to the gem on the back of your right hand. And when you hold up your right hand and look at the back of your hand, you can see how much XP you need to go up your next level. When you hold up your left hand, look at the back of your left hand, it shows you how much health you have left. So that was a pretty awesome game. I am looking forward to playing that one some more. I'm looking forward to playing all the ones I played so far some more. I have more that I haven't tried yet, because I got done with work, and I set it up, and then I put in the Astrobot game, and I started that, and I played through 2 levels, and they're like Mario levels, so it's not like crazy hard or, whoa, that scared me. I thought you were pushing me off. Crazy hard or long levels, and so I did those 2 levels, and then I wanted to show it to my sister, and I thought she would take a couple minutes to play with it. Nope, she played it for the next 3 hours, almost. And in fact, she tried one of the other games I haven't tried yet. I got one called I can't remember what it's called, Dino something. And so it's like a Western city builder, but it's not our Wild West. It's alternate place where they still have dinosaurs, and so she was playing that for a long time. You have little settlers, and they do jobs, and so like her first settler is chopping down trees, and she has to build a lumber yard and a meat or a food processing plant. I forget what that one was called, and then she eventually. Oh, good, you didn't die. Where's my enforcer? Dude, where's my enforcer? He is way too powerful to die, so where did he go? Did he fall off? I know he tried to push me off. Something's going on here. That's with wolves. I mean, he teleports. He should teleport to me. There he is. He's just pretending. And, so that one seemed pretty cool. I love city builders, and so she, like, the controls are designed for VR. So she looks off to the side, and there's the icons, and then like she clicks on the build icon, and it shows her the builder tray, and then she takes that and sticks it to the ground, and then pulls the thing she wants to build and puts that down on the ground, and then a hammer appears, and she's got to use the hammer to build it, to pound it into place. And so I thought all that was pretty slick. And okay, somewhere in here has got to be a gentle, slopey path to get out of this desert hole in the ground. It might be right here. This looks like a cliff face. I forgot that. Oh, it's... Nope, stop being a cliff face. Okay. So I didn't get to play that one yet, but that one looked pretty cool. And then, because you gotta sit in you gotta sit in front of the camera, and so obviously my living room here is not designed to sit in front of a camera. So I had to get a chair out, and so I used the wooden chair for a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, this chair sucks. And so I went and got my old table gaming chair, which I've had since I was in high school. It's beat up and broken down, and it's on its way out. And so I did order a new chair this morning to replace it, because it is in a sad state of affairs. But it's still way more comfortable than that wooden chair I was sitting in. And so it'll be nice when a new one comes to replace the poor broke down guy, who should probably go in the trash. Poor guy. I literally have had that chair since I was in high school. Guy found it on the side of the road. And so it wasn't even in the greatest condition when I got it in the first place, but I've used it so much that there are spots where it's wore through. It used to be my computer chair. Like when I sat at a computer desk through high school and college, that was the chair. And so So it's definitely wore down a bit, and uh, and so anyways, so I was sitting in that while I was trying out the games, and I thought, hey, you know what? I'll bet there's some kind of like theater mode or something where you can watch movies. So I went and got Godzilla in preparation for next week when the new Godzilla movie comes out. I want to watch through Godzilla and Kong, and so I'm like, I'm gonna watch Godzilla on this VR headset. Now the resolution isn't the greatest in the headset. It's good, but it's not necessarily pristine. Although, to be fair, I was watching uh, basically I did watch the Godzilla movie on like a 220-inch screen from 7 to 10 feet away, is what they described the mode I was in as. So it was huge. I had to turn my head to the left and right to see the whole screen. You could see most of it just looking straight ahead, but you did have to turn your head a bit if they got to the edges of the screen. And so I kicked back in my recliner and I laid back with that on and moved the screen so that it was in front of me with my head laid back like that. Yeah, it was pretty awesome to watch Godzilla like that. Not gonna lie, I uh, I like a Godzilla that's so big it's the only thing I can see. Still with me, Enforcer? All right. So I got Doedic. I did not find the beaver dams I was hoping for. Although having a Doedic, I think, is going to speed things up a little bit. Just because, the Anky's alright at getting stone, but it doesn't do that. And so that will definitely help some of my issues. Don't die. I wonder if I got enough in me to get another set. Okay. Nope, we're still not slowed down. How about another set? Oh. Yeah. But yeah, it was very impressive. I was not expecting it to be as cool as it was. Um, I didn't get like Skyrim or Fallout or anything like that because I am going to get a Valve Index in the fall, and I think I want to wait for the PC versions of those games. And I know I said Stormland's the game that made me want to get VR, and then I went and bought something that doesn't play Stormland. But I just felt like if I was gonna do it, I want to do the best one, and not something that hasn't been updated in a while, And it sounds like the Index is gonna be the best one when it comes out. And I saw some pretty cool stuff in their demo videos for it. And on top of that, Stormland is like a real game. Like a lot of these VR games are like tiny little short things, I guess. And Stormland is supposed to be like a real Ratchet and Clank style adventure game when it comes out. And so there might be a way to get that to run on the Index. I don't know. We'll have to see when it comes out. But Valve is also releasing a game, and so specifically for the Index, and so I'm a big fan of Valve games most of the time. I do feel they lost their way with Half-Life 2, which I know is everybody's favorite, but that seems to be the case for me every time. It's everybody's favorite. I don't like it that much, and I like the other. I liked Portal 2 and Portal 1. Those were awesome games. I liked Half-Life 1. Half-Life 2, though, as I've told many times, I guess we can end with that story. It's been a while since I told my Half-Life 2 story. Want to know why I don't like Half-Life 2? This is why. I played Half-Life 1. It takes a long time to get through Half-Life 1. And then they have all these expansion, or these um, alternate versions of the game where you play other characters during the events of Half-Life. And they're all really long games. And then Half-Life 2 comes out, and I'm super excited. And I get out my disc for Half-Life 2, and there was this gaming social software called GameSpy back in the day, and so when you go to install Half-Life, first off you have to install Steam, which was brand new. The Half-Life 2 is when Steam came out, and so you have to install Steam. So install Steam, and you install Half-Life, and I had terrible internet. It was dial-up, and it ran terrible, and so it'd take forever to download anything. And then on top of that, it was dial-up, and we had one phone line, and so if I was using it, nobody else could use the telephone. And so, uh, there were many hours where you could not use the telephone because I was using the telephone. And so we get Half-Life 2, and I tell it to install. And during the installation, there's a spot where it says, "Do you wish to install GameSpy?" And I always said no because I wasn't interested in sharing information about myself with other gamers. And so then it goes through the installation process. And the installation process on Half-Life 2 was slow. And so, I mean, like, it would take a couple of hours for it to install. And so it gets to the end of the 2-hour installation, and then it says, "There's been an error with your installation. All installation files have been deleted from your hard drive." Okay. So I'm like, well, it's computers. Sometimes they get glitchy, and I mean, it is what it is. And so I tell it to do it again. And once again, it gets to GameSpy, and I tell it, no, I don't want GameSpy. I don't want it. And sure enough, it installs for about 2 hours and crashes. There's been a problem with the installation. We will delete the installation files. I'm like, no, stop deleting the installation files. It took so long to get them on my computer. So then I go online and go to the Steam forums, or not the Steam forums, the Valve forums, and there on the Valve forums it says, "We're aware that there was a problem with the installation process on the Half-Life 2 discs." Like, did nobody put these in and try it? I don't understand how you got so many installation discs out here. Hundreds, thousands, I would imagine. And nobody thought to bother to try and install it and make sure it worked okay. Okay, we're gonna need more keratin and chitin, I guess. I'm really gonna use that much up? No, because that's only like 120. Why isn't it letting me tell it to make more stone? Or make more, weird, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use up all those ingredients. unless I am doing my math or doing my math incorrectly. Anyways, let me finish this story so I can get out of here. And so, sure enough, you have to install GameSpy. Yeah, no, I am gonna have to go get more carrot and chitin, I guess. Oh, killer! Oh, killer of things! I need you to come with me. So we can get our hands on some keratin and chitin. And so I'm like, oh, alright, fine. So then I tell it to install with GameSpy. And it installs. Works fine that time, right? Because I tell it to install GameSpy. So now I got GameSpy on there. I then uninstalled GameSpy. But I don't remember when I uninstalled it. I didn't run it. So get it all installed, and I go to start up the game, and it has to log into Steam before you can start it. That was the first. I never. Well, that's not true. I played MMOs, but I never played a game where I was just playing a single-player campaign in a shooter, where I had to log into the online thing. And so I'm like, oh, all right, fine. So I log into the online thing, and you know what? There's a freaking patch. Day 1 patch. All started right there with Half-Life 2. And on my dial-up, that Day 1 patch took me 3 hours to download. And that patch was for the multiplayer. That patch was for multiplayer. I wasn't playing the multiplayer. So it took me 9 hours to install that game. 9 hours. And you think, well, I mean, 9 hours, that's a long time to install a game. But, I mean, in today's world where you have to download entire games, 9 hours is just something you sit up to do overnight, you know? It ain't that big a deal. Yeah, that's not why I hate Half-Life 2. So then I play the game. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie, to start with. And you get going, and in the first game, you try to stop an alien invasion. In the second game, apparently the alien invasion went through, and you've been stuck in the other dimension or something. And so now you've returned, and they need you. And so you're in this city, and you fight your way into a junkyard, and then they get you out of the city before the aliens can get you. And then you get in a dune buggy, and you drive the dune buggy down this road to the south. And you go south for probably took you about an hour to get to the dune buggy. And then you spend about 2 hours or so driving south in the dune buggy. And then when you get all the way south that the game is going to take you, they're like, oh no, we're in trouble. We need you to come back to the north. So then you get in the boat, and you drive the boat to the north, and every so often is a dam, and so you have to stop the boat and get out of the boat and fight your way through a little dam dungeon, and open the channel gates, and then go back and get in your boat, and then take your boat to the next set. And so you do that for a couple hours. So now you're up to about 5 hours of gameplay, 6 hours of gameplay, somewhere in there. Or no, I'm sorry. It probably only took about an hour on each of those. So you're about 3 to 4 hours into the game at this point. And then when you know it, you have to go back to the city that you left in the first place. And so then you fight your way through the city streets for a little bit. And then you get to this tower, and then you fight your way up the tower, and then you do whatever it is you do in the tower. I don't even remember at this point. And then the game's over. And then you look at how long it's taken you, and it's taken you 6 hours. And that was the first of the tiny shooter campaigns. So Half-Life 2, which everybody loves for some reason, I don't. And it brought some of the worst things that ever happened to gaming with it, in that it was prettier than it had substance, and it brought day one patches, and yeah, and it was like, okay, so we made this game and we made a physics engine for it, but then we forgot to actually make levels for our game. And I have made game levels. I know it's not the easiest thing, but once you have a system in place, it's just making levels after that. I don't understand. I don't understand why the game was only 6 hours long, but took me 9 hours to install it. Alright, so with that, I am going to call it a day. So click like if you like, subscribe, share, and catch the next one. And I will talk to you later.